Hello, today we're going to discuss what is known as PPOs or Police Powers of Protection. These powers are set out in the Children Act 1989. The Act provides that where there is reasonable ground to believe that the child would be likely to suffer significant harm if not taken into police protection. Significant harm is defined in section 31, subsection 9 and 10, and I've done a video on my website which is quite extensive, which provides a detailed explanation of what significant is and what significant harm is not. When the police exercise these powers, it's usually for a maximum duration of 72 hours and it cannot be extended. The power enables the police to move the child to suitable accommodation or take reasonable steps to prevent removal from hospital or other safe place. Number 2, to do what is reasonable in all the circumstances to safeguard or promote the child's welfare, having regard to the duration of the police protection. The Children Act, specifically under Section 46 of the Children Act 1989, directs a constable, is directed as a police officer or constable who has sole responsibility and discretion for taking a child into police protection. The officer must make a judgment of the situation at the scene and be satisfied that the child is likely to suffer significant harm if the child is not put in a place of safety. A police officer cannot delegate this responsibility to anyone, to a social worker, medical officer, hospital, or anybody else. The police officer has to make that call. Nor can the police officer authorize a social worker to remove a child without a constable making a judgment of the situation at the scene. Importantly, it is not necessary for the police officer to have the authority of a supervisor before taking a child into police protection. An officer at the scene must make a judgment call, must make a decision based on all the available information and make his judgment. This does not mean that a police officer cannot obtain guidance from his superior or her superior or supervisors before taking such an action. We're now going to look at some practical consideration of effecting a PPO or when the police exercise their police powers. A police officer taking a child into police protection will remove the child to suitable accommodation provided by, on behalf of the local authority or a refuge, or sometimes to a relative. A police station is not suitable accommodation, although it may be necessary to take the child there whilst making other appropriate and suitable arrangements for the child. The police officer will then inform the relevant local authority in whose area the child was found of the steps they have taken and or are proposing to take with respect to the child and provide a summary of their reasons. They will then provide detail to the local authority within those areas where the child is present or found or living. The constable will also inform the child if the child, of course, is deemed to have sufficient understanding of the steps they have taken in respect of the child, and steps to inquire what the child's feeling is about it. There is also an onus on the police officer to, as soon as reasonable practicable, to also inform the child's parents, and everybody, and also inform every person who has parental responsibility for that child. Once the police officer have informed the local authority of the steps they have taken, the responsibility now shifts to the local authority to ensure the welfare of that child. I hasten to add that once the local authority is involved, there's if the child is placed with family members, then there may be need to carry out an assessment of the family under the placement with family, friends, and other connected persons procedure. I hope you have found this useful. But before I go on, I think there's something else I think I ought to mention, which is that prior to the expiration of the 72 hours, as the local authority becomes involved, steps have to be taken to determine whether the child continues to need a safe accommodation, or whether the child needs to return to the parent, or what steps need to be taken to investigate the child's situation more thoroughly. And sometimes it may require the local authority considering obtaining a court order. All that needs to be decided within that 72 hours prior to the expiration. Otherwise, the child has to be returned, or must be returned, to the parent who has parental responsibility for that child. I hope you found this useful. Please let me have your comments below, and any other topics you want me to consider. Thank you very much.